Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO. Quicker than everyone asks for the major to be in their own country. A quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode. It really helps us. I'm Logan. This is Aizyesque. On today's episode, we talk about Ben Tet returning to the Chinese national team of Tai Lu. We talk about Navi, the Navi Liquid game being the strong side, weak side game of the world. And we talk about how I edit this podcast at 1 a.m. It's extremely enticing episode here. Roll the intro. It's weird. I'm back in. It's been like 3 months since I've recorded from here.
Yeah, I record from here pretty much every week, so for me it's completely normal.
Yeah,
and you often blur out the background anyway, so it's quite difficult for me to even tell what's behind you.
You know what? That's fair. No, I'm back. I'm back at school. Last semester, finishing this. All right, let's talk about Counter-Strike. There's a lot of stuff that happened in like the last 3 hours. All right, first thing, let's start with this. PGL has announced that they have gotten the rights to the major for the next major, and it will be in, drumroll please, Belgium in Antwerp, which I think is a pretty cool place to have the major.
Yeah, I mean, Belgium is quite a good spot for a lot of Europe to get to. It's pretty accessible. Antwerp obviously isn't the capital as well, which means it should be a little bit cheaper than, Brussels is obviously a hub for a lot of things, and therefore it's very expensive. So Antwerp is a lot easier. From what I've never been, I've never been to Antwerp, but what I gather, it's quite a nice city to go to as well. A lot of people are pretty excited. I think it's a pretty good place, even though Belgium isn't a spiritual home for Counter-Strike. There's not been that many good Belgian players. It's still pretty cool.
Yeah, some really good Belgian Valorant players.
Nowadays, yes.
For ignorant Americans, Belgium is located in between Germany and France, along with a couple other countries there. They're called the Benelux nations. So that's where it is for your mind maps here. Some cool
they speak
stuff
a bunch
about
of languages as well.
Yeah,
French,
they speak like
Dutch,
a million languages.
I think German as well.
They've got so there's actually some cool stuff going on with Belgium. So the internet was talking about who they want to be on the broadcast. And like the first bunch of names that came up were Harry Hugo, Lunner Scrawny, right? They got screwed a little screwed over the last major not being there. We all want them there now. But I think the more
Scrawny and Launders absolutely deserve to be there. Like Scrawny and Launders have been, for my money, the best casting duo in the world for the last year or so.
I agree.
And Harry and Hugo are second. That's my personal opinion. I thought it was. I didn't agree with the talent choice last event. They obviously went for a very nostalgic feel. I think now they've got a second one, they can feel a little bit more comfortable. PGL, I think they can branch out and go for the more modernized version.
Yeah. In all honesty, if it's three, I think the last major had 3 duos. If that sounds right, 3 casting duos.
It was it Anders and Moses?
Moses.
Anders and Semler, right?
Anders and Semler, Sadikist and Moses.
Sadikist and Moses, Bardolph and
Bardolph, DDK, Sponge Machine. So I guess there were 4.
So it was 4, yeah.
Okay, so Sponge Machine should be the third one, and I think you and I are on the same page on the 4th, that it should be Vince and Blair.
I want Vince and Blair. I really like it. I mean, I think we're pretty blessed that pretty much every casting duo. I can't think of a bad one that you could have there. Like
DDK.
All right, fair enough.
He's a Valorant caster. Get him out of here.
I mean, yeah, to me, personally, because it's a major, I would want people who mainly do Counter-Strike. Yeah. I wouldn't have DDK and Bardolph. Maybe Bardolph, but I mean, I think he's burnt some bridges.
Yeah. To be fair,
so
someone I'd really like to see, but because of that rule, I cannot say I want to see Pansy. But
yeah, I like Pansy. I do like Pansy.
But like, here's the thing: per our own rules, because I totally agree with you that whoever is casting the major should be involved with Counter-Strike 90% of the year.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's
Against
how I
Valorant.
feel.
And
I mean,
no, I completely agree, and like we have to stick with the rules here.
I think perhaps the only exception is because it's in Belgium. Maybe you do take shocks.
So that's where I was leading to. I think if
Maybe.
they don't have Shocks host this, I think they're doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah, but the issue I have with that is then somebody misses out, right? Like maybe it's Freya who misses out, who don't, or maybe it's Banks, like maybe it's Richard Lewis, something like that.
Well, Richard,
I,
so
I
I
know
don't know if you
Richard
saw
Lewis
the
said
tweet.
he,
Yeah,
he basically said he wanted Shocks to do it instead of him, which are very
yeah,
noble. And
yeah. So let
but
me read that. So Richard Lewis
I'm
went
not
and
sure
said
I
on
agree.
he went and said on Twitter, I went to Belgium many times during my esports adventures. A good choice to CSGO major. Here's hoping that this is the major where we see call-ups for the great broadcast talent that has nurtured our scene these past few years. Shocks and Freya hosting duo, Harry Hugo and Lau and Scrowney. Notorious Don Hachi replied, "You got one more in you?" And he replied, "Nah, it would be wrong to deny the fans the opportunity to see Shocks in action again for CSGO. Seems like a no-brainer hire. We'll work on throwing the No Majors club back together." Which, to be fair, a major in Belgium, I feel like it kind of deserves to have
Yeah,
Shocks. Like that
yeah,
that that
that's fine.
that's like match made in heaven kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's no shade from me towards Shocks because she's phenomenal at what she does. It was just a case that I'm like, if I'm gonna say I don't think
Yeah.
DDK and Vardoff are gonna do it because they don't primarily do
Yeah, I
Counter
don't
Strike,
care.
or
Break the
certainly
rule for
DDK.
Shocks.
Like, is it hypocritical to then say Shocks should do it just because it's in Belgium?
You know what?
Possibly.
Probably, but fuck it. This is our show. We can do whatever we want.
Fair point.
So I'm excited for this major. I'm excited for day one to have a million audio issues.
I
It's
don't care
kind of
if I'm there.
that's a good
Once you're
point.
there, you don't really care
That
because I
that's
am
that's a very
planning on
fair
going.
point.
So
I haven't looked at my calendar yet. I'm too scared to look at my calendar.
I don't even check when the dates are actually.
It's
It
sometime
depends.
in May, which scares me because sometime in May is finals and graduation for me. So
Yeah, I know at some point I'm busy. Let me see if they've. It's the 9th to the 22nd.
that's like the 22nd. I literally graduate. I think on the 21st.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm definitely
Yo,
busy at
just
some point then, but we'll see.
skip graduation for the major.
Yeah, you don't need to like. You've already it's only a ceremony.
I just want the piece of paper, man.
It's like when you get married and you have the after party. You don't need to be at the after party. You're still married.
um, but I think this is gonna be a fun major. It's in a really good place in Europe. I don't know. I think this is gonna be fun. So this
Yeah.
this basically confirms though that the two majors this year will be the PGL in Belgium, and then we'll have a ESL one in Rio.
Come to Brazil.
Viva for Brazil. That's
Come to
that's
Brazil.
doable. That's
Yeah. I'm not sure I'll be going to Brazil. Seems like a long way to go. But
let's see where you are in your life at that point.
yeah, maybe I'll get hired for it. You never know.
All right. Speaking of Brazil, only good segues today. Furia debuted their new roster.
Hey.
They lost. Now you may be thinking, if you haven't been following Counter-Strike very closely, that Furia, they lost to Liquid or Na'Vi or Gambit or Heroic or G2 or maybe even Big. No, they lost to Wisla Krakow.
Wisla Krakow, I believe.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Which is the, I believe, 38th ranked team on HLTV
in Poland. No, they're the 38th best team in Poland. No, they're not a bad team. You look through the list of the names on this team, you're like, I could see like you losing and it being okay, but they got stomped. It wasn't even close. Yeah. It was like 16-8, 16-7 or something.
It was 16-6, 16-8.
Yeah, like that's a body. That is a body. I mean, okay, so it's Snatchy, Sparrow, Jedka, Goofy, and Sobol. Almost certainly pronounced that last one wrong. But like these are decent players, and they're coached by Lord, who's a famous 1.6 player. He was part of the original Golden Five. So there's a lot of decent players and a very like respected coach. Also, as we're recording this, they're a map up on Apex. This is a decent team. I mean,
they are losing the second map, but they are a map up. Yeah. They're ranked 34th in the world.
Yeah, like this is not a terrible team.
Yeah, but here's the
It's
thing.
pretty bad for Fury to get banged out by them, but they're not a
Yeah.
bad team.
No, agreed. Not a bad team, but Furia should not be losing to them.
They certainly shouldn't be like losing 2-0 and getting only 14
Yeah.
rounds. I think it's the manner of the loss one. If you lost close and you're like, well, it's a new team, they're a solid tier 2 team, you're like, it can happen. When you get smashed like this, it's like something's seriously wrong. Like something is really wrong. Maybe like that whole thing where I was like, this makes too much sense for it to work. Maybe there's something in that. Because that
Impossible.
is a really bad start.
Yeah. Here's the thing: we are in the very much too much early to comment on this stuff.
No, overreactions only.
They've played and match.
Fury are as doomed as Na'Vi. We'll get onto that.
They've literally played and match. That's it. This is their only match until they play in Challenger in like a week.
Wait,
and
so
a
they
half.
lost one best of 3 and they're out of this event. That's amazing.
Yes, that's the entire event. They lost
amazing.
one best of 3 and then they're out.
And they finished 5th to 8th. So they must wait. What? Were they just like given a buy into the quarters and then just got?
I think they were given a buy into the playoffs.
That's amazing. Oh, they were. I remember now. I remember
There was
reading
a group play and they were given a buy.
Yeah. I remember the event. I remember the announcement of this event. Now I remember now.
Yeah. Copenhagen Flames, Heroic, Fnatic, and Furia were invited. Oh my god! Wait, the 3 of the 4 invited teams were just dumpstered in the quarterfinals.
I suppose there's a case where all of the other teams had been playing for a bit, and these are like some relatively new teams. Certainly, Furia are maybe not Fnatic and Heroic, but it's like they're coming in really cold, whereas the others have like warmed up a little bit and played some.
Yeah.
CS. Whereas like this is literally, as you say, this is Furia's first game, A, with a new team, and B, after the player break. Whereas Wisla Krakow have been playing games in the group stage, so
I don't think it's just the group stage, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like they'd actually been playing some games before this. But
Yeah,
I mean, you look at Fnatic.
they've been playing games throughout the entirety of the player break. They played a different Pinnacle. They played Multivibes. They're playing this. They played Premier.
There you go.
They've been playing. They've been gaming.
So like, it's really not that big a surprise in the end that they're coming in hot to a cold Furia team and just like smack them.
Yeah,
we'll see in 2 months' time who's the better team, I suppose.
Probably still Wisla Krakow, but you know what? We'll see at that point.
And also Apex, a team we were very excited for, 2-0 at Fnatic. This one was a little bit closer, 16-13, 16-30. Asilian top in the charts. I mean, that's
running back the years.
Not what we were expecting. Like, I don't know. The reason I'm excited for this team isn't because I'm expecting Asilian to like drag them through
correct
tough games like this.
To be fair, we expect Jacob and Nock to, and Chauzy.
Yeah, and Chauzy and Nock kind of struggled a little bit, but I mean, this team just makes a lot of sense to me on paper. And Fnatic, again, coming in pretty cold, even after a really impressive like spell before the player break, they're coming back very cold. And I mean, they made it close at least. I suppose that's at least the Fury didn't even do that. So
yeah. All right, let's move on. I want to do a quick conversation on something that is vaguely Counter-Strike related, and then we'll go to the Bubsky story.
That's basically the idea of this podcast.
That's a good point. Do you know what's happening this Saturday?
I don't. Oh, I do. It's Pasha's fight.
Pasha is fighting
the big man.
This Saturday. I'm so excited. I'm actually planning to watch the entire thing. I'm so excited.
I'm not sure I will. But
well, myself and my roommate, who's a writer for our Valorant newsletter, he who's a Counter-Strike fan as well. He and I are having like 4 people over. We're just gonna sit on the couch and watch this fight. That's amazing. It's gonna be terrible, but it's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's going to be a good fighter.
No, but he's not fighting a real fighter either. So.
Yeah, I mean, we really need to set up Pasha versus Jake Paul.
Yo, see,
that's a fight I'm watching. If I can watch Pasha Biceps knock 7 shades of shit out of Jake Paul, I'll pay any amount of money.
You know what? Yeah, I'd pay for that pay-per-view. I wouldn't even illegally stream that one.
Yeah. Wouldn't even. I, is it? Is somebody actually even illegally streaming the passion? Like,
I'm paying for it. It's a whole
yeah,
$9.
obviously. Like,
It's a whole $9.
how would
Like
you even go about sourcing a stream, an
I,
illegal stream
I
of
don't know, man.
Pasha Biceps fighting some
There's
randomer?
actually a form at the bottom of the page that says how to report an illegal stream that leads you to a Google
Amazing.
form.
I guess somebody might be doing it on Twitch or something. Do you remember when somebody was streaming a
Yeah.
football game by pretending they were playing FIFA? That was amusing.
No, I remember when someone was streaming the Jake Paul fight by just like putting their glasses up to the camera and reflecting it into their so
Amazing.
they couldn't say they were streaming it, but they were streaming it.
That's amazing.
All right. Let's go to like actual news. Bubsky retired.
Yeah, that was.
Congrats.
Well, it's a sort of tentative retirement, and that he's like left the door open to come back.
Yeah,
but
the
like
official article says he's entered free agency.
Yeah, so we were told, Jackson, we were told about a couple of days ago that Bubsky was going to go on to be an analyst on Danish TV. We put the report out, and we think that is the case, that he's going to
Australis
become an
confirmed
analyst
it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Bubsky's just said he's entered.
The name of the article being "Bubsky is free," so
yeah, yeah. He is, but at what cost?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, so you do have to wonder with Bobski how much he really wanted to be the best player he could be. I mean, the fact that he was willing to take a role on Australis as a rotating man, which, I mean, he must have known beforehand. The fact that he sort of stayed on Australis for so long, I mean, I don't know if there were other offers for him. And the fact that he's now going into television makes me think that maybe he wasn't too keen on the whole lifestyle, which, I mean, it's not for everyone, right? I mean, pretty much everyone listening to this podcast would kill to be in that position, but it clearly isn't for everyone. I mean, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that is like, it's if you had stepped away from Counter-Strike in like July and come back now and you saw the thing that said Bubsky retires, there would be zero surprise. You're just like, didn't he do that like 3 months ago? Like,
he retired when he signed this contract to play for Australis.
Like, it's just, it's kind of unfortunate because he was super good on Mad Lions, and it sucks that he's just like not there. But if he doesn't have the drive to do it, then it doesn't really matter. Like, end of the day, you gotta want it to be able to do anything. So I understand that. And at least he can go take his skills and make money elsewhere, which is a good thing. Because like, he's gotten these skills. Use it.
Yeah, it's very strange though, isn't it? Like, he's so young still, and he's like, giving up on to what for most of us what would have been a dream. It's very odd, but
he's 23.
Yeah, exactly. He's not old at all.
Yeah. Speaking of players who you might have thought has retired, Ben Tet.
Yeah,
formerly
of Tyloo.
Yeah, formerly of Tyloo, formerly of, was it Gen G, formerly of Oceania Minor Super Team Extremum, formerly of, and now currently of Tyloo again.
Yeah, it seems like he tried to. I think you can take being Tet out of Tyloo, but you could never take the Tyloo out of being Tet. He was always a little bit erratic. He never quite transferred his ridiculous regional form to the rest of the world. Certainly outside of Tyloo. And I think he generally seemed to have a better time on Tyloo. Tyloo were better with him. He seemed like a better player on Tyloo. I just worry that going back there is going to not bring the same level of success, in inverted commas, that it did the first time around.
I don't know. Here's the thing. That team is just fun to watch right now. It's Summer, Attacker, somebody slowly, Dan King, and Ben Tet. They are running 6-man roster. They've like come out and said they're running 6-man roster. I think it's just going to be fun regardless. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. This is a bank move. This is Ben Tet needs money to like survive,
Yeah.
and North America just did a shuffle and nothing happened there. And I don't think a European team wants to go after Bentet right now. I
No,
don't
no,
think
no.
there's a
There's
reason to.
it's like a massive risk the way he. I don't
Yeah,
know. He hasn't played that well for a little while now, and we all know he can be good. But I think
yeah.
he became an in-game leader on Tai Lu, and he was never quite the same after that.
But like, so here's the thing, right? Is that he? What do we have left? We have Oceania, right? So seeing back to Tai Lu is kind of a that makes sense on a lot of parties.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it makes perfect. I think it's the best position for. I think it's like the best player Tai Lu can get, and the best place B and Tech can be. Probably. I mean, maybe he'd do well somewhere else, but he hasn't set the world alight ever since leaving Tai Lu. So
Yo, add Bentet to the Orglist Apps project. There we go. That's a home.
that makes like no sense for
I
anyone.
know.
That'd be awful.
Except apparently for Daps. Would make
Aren't they?
much
Aren't they
sense to it.
only August until Extra Salt sign them?
Yeah, but every minute that goes by that Extra Salt hasn't signed them is kind of sketch to me right now.
I think it's a case where they probably just have. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's a contract thing. I don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about the last Twitter thing of this week, um, which is MSL's coaching tweet.
Yeah,
Um, so MSL came out, and do you know the original price off the top of your head? 'Cause I
it
don't
was
remember.
750 euros.
750. Okay. So MSL came out and said that people had asked him about like renting his time. That's not the right word, but we're going with it.
I know
For
what you
like
mean.
coaching sessions and stuff. For 750 years for 2 hours. Actually, I think it was $750, but
I
for
thought I thought it was euros, but yeah, whatever it was.
750 units of money. For two hours.
Bitcoin,
For
seven
two
hundred and
hours.
fifty Bitcoin.
God, you'll be a billionaire. Um,
That's why
750
everyone's angry.
money units for 2 hours. He got like five, six signups, something like that. He then lowered it to $500. I think he filled up his class. He was looking at 10 slots or something like that, at least to start. So everyone's a little upset that he's charging $500 for 2 hours, which is 700, which is what, $250 an hour.
Yeah,
And he came out and was like, "Yeah, it's expensive to live in Denmark right now."
it's
Um,
also
so he,
expensive. Like it's like you're asking a guy who is about as close to an expert as you can read. Like who can you ask who isn't currently playing, who has more experience in game leading and like at a good level more recently than MSL? Like he is about the most like expert person you could possibly ask for this coaching. Um, he is a former pro, current pro in theory, who just isn't on a team. Like,
who he did come out and say that he was like very much still looking for a team. I'm trying to
yeah,
pull up the
his
conversation. So
fucking livelihood is based on the fact that he can teach his system and the way he plays Counter Strike to a group of players. Like, that's his fucking job. Like, he's not going to give it away for cheap because otherwise, like, you know, he can give away like what it takes to be there, and then he becomes less valuable. Like, it has to be expensive because it's incredibly niche, incredibly specialist knowledge from a guy who is like recently at the very top level of Counter Strike, whose job is to do this, who lives in, as you say, a very expensive place to live. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's expensive, but like, how much do you fucking think it should be? Like, he's about as good a coach as you're going to get.
here's my. I don't like the fact that it's $500. I don't like the fact that it started at $750. That's insane. Here's the thing for me. I do not, and I'm going to partake some financial speak here. Just a warning that this is not how you should use your money. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. Um, $500 for a single person for 2 hours seems ridiculous for me, right?
Yeah,
But here's where the understandable part comes in. What if it was $50 a person per hour? because he takes teams. So what if you
Yeah.
got your whole team in there and did a team thing, right? That makes
Well,
sense,
yeah,
and that
exactly.
that works out monetarily. Like that, you can do in your head, right? Like
It-
that
it-
that makes sense. It's just to me, it's I think everyone's very much on this on the $500 for one person to do this, and
yeah,
like
which is not the
while
point.
while I agree that is way too expensive for a single person, you unless you're like an FPL star, right, who just doesn't understand how to get to the next level, you as a single person realistically should not be looking at this, right? The target audience for this is not if you're buying it as one person is not you. It's not like a silver elite player or a gold nova average player. You're
Yeah.
not the target audience
So
here.
to me, the target audience is a semi-pro slash like ESEA Premier team
Yeah, I was
who,
gonna say ESEA Advanced, Challenger,
yeah,
whatever
if
it is today. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
if the if MSL's coaching elevates you another level and makes you a pro or like a slightly better semi-pro, like that could be worth something monetarily. If I mean, look, I guess the issue is that MSL isn't a proven coach of semi-pro teams, so you don't necessarily know whether or not his coaching will elevate you in a sense. But he is also a decorated. I mean, you can say what you want about MSL. He's won trophies. He's placed well. He's taken teams to the next level. He's played at the top level of Counter. You can say what you want. He's better than anyone listening to this podcast as a
Hey,
professional Counter Strike player.
hey, you don't know who listens to this podcast. It's certainly not us, but
Yeah, but they're not going to be better than MSL unless it's like, unless Aizyesque listening. Look, nobody listening to this podcast wouldn't improve at least a little bit
yeah,
by listening to what MSL had to say. It might be pretty expensive, but like if it's for like your whole team and you're wanting to go like if you're like 17 and you really think I'm good at this game, I just need like an extra kick to get to the pro level. Like you aren't going to find a better person to teach you than MSL, I don't think. So
yeah.
ah,
So I want to read. So Josh Mix, who both of us follow on Twitter, fun guy, previously Cloud9 assistant coach, Norvind coach, um, like 3 different iterations of Cloud9 assistant coach. He tweeted back, "I don't think some people realize the things you'll learn from OSL are things you'll take and carry with you for the rest of your career if you really taking the information correctly. It's not just a couple of cool tips and tricks." Which, like, I see that, like, I get that, and again, go in as a team. Even
yeah.
if you don't go in as a team, play like 5 pugs with a group of people and then go in as a team.
So I was just trying to find out. So in League of Legends, there's a lot of people who do like on stream coaching who will coach.
Yes.
Like you can get like because of the way League of Legends works, and like if you're a challenger player, you are like top 0.1 or 0.01 whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and they're very visible. A lot of them offer coaching, and I was just looking how much it costs generally. And there's a guy
Mhm.
called Nice. I don't know if you know him, who
I
is
do.
quite famous for coaching players on how to play for a private one-on-one session with him, it's $300.
For how long?
1 hour and 30 minutes.
That's $500 or like 450.
Well,
Something like
it's
that.
$300 for 1.5 hours. So like,
No. I'm saying like if we do the math out,
oh,
so
for to two
it's
hours, right?
$400 for 2 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Um.
Which is I mean, like that's not dissimilar, and he isn't a pro player.
Yeah.
Obviously, CS:GO is a completely different game. I understand all that, and it's more team based in how you improve. I think at that level, but I don't think it's completely out of line. I think $750 probably is out of line,
Yeah.
but 500.
I.
Look, I'm not the target audience for this
Yeah.
because there's
Exactly.
nothing MSL will tell me is going to make me be able to aim. Like
Yeah.
I do not have the hands to play it at a much better level than I currently do, and I've got like 5.5K hours, and I
Yeah.
can't aim. Like
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. Like
I've got like 3.5. Can't aim.
Yeah,
Like it's just like nothing at MSL that tells me is gonna fix that.
yeah,
Like
and
there's just not a shot.
I would probably have to play another 4K hours before I was like genuinely a good player. So it's not. I am not the target audience for this. If you are a semi-pro team, if you're an in-game leader even of like a good team, and
Yeah,
you're like,
if
I want to learn a little bit more about what I'm doing.
if
Look,
you're
I
like
think it could be worth it, but I
ESEA
don't think it makes
advanced,
sense to have a go at him for it either. It's like if you think it's a ridiculous price,
don't
just don't
pay it.
fucking pay it. Like
Just
it's
don't buy it.
literally that simple. Like
Like
supply and demand.
if you can't afford it, don't get it.
Yeah,
Like
literally. It's like,
like
oh, I
if
wanted to be coached by MSO.
but here's the thing.
Okay, pay the price.
Obviously 10 people bought it or whatever. So obviously he's got
Yeah,
some demand in this price range for it.
yeah,
So if you're not the target audience, then just shut the fuck up and just don't be the target audience. Like
yeah.
it's not.
Literally. It's like I used to watch a League of Legends YouTuber who like he would offer coaching and he was like, yeah, it's really expensive. I don't like coaching, so like if I'm gonna do it, pay me a lot of money. And I was like,
Yeah.
fair enough, can't argue.
Like you know what? Here we'll put this out. We'll put this out to the world. I'm a coach for a collegiate team. I'll coach you for 20 bucks an hour. You will not get so that's what 40 bucks. Let's do 50 bucks for the 2 hours. You will not get 10% of what MSL is offering if you have me coach you. Like
Yeah,
that's just not how this is gonna work. So
and that's also the thing. There's not many people who offer this in CS,
no,
so like
there's like no one.
this is really rare. If there
Wait,
were
shit.
more
Maybe
people
I
offering,
should start offering this.
I mean, I don't know who. Like obviously like people like Vu, Launders would be an amazing coach. Maui Snake would be a really good one. But like these people are very busy. Like you to buy like 2 hours of their time.
Yeah,
That I mean, it has to be expensive because these people are busy and there's so few people who could give you a level of insight into Counter Strike that would
that
actually be
MSL
useful for
can.
most people that it has to be expensive because it's such a limited market. I don't think $500 is a ridiculous price. It would be a ridiculous price for me personally to pay because it won't make any fucking difference. But if you're a semi-pro team, it seems like a very reasonable price to me.
Again, especially if you do the math and you just break it up into each player has to do 100. Like that's
I guess the issue is for me and you. We live in pretty affluent countries.
that would be correct. Yes.
You come from Russia. $500 probably a little bit more.
Yeah. But again,
Other than that,
he can't hit every target. Like you cannot hit every single target audience with this. We're not Steam where prices are adjusted to where you live. Like, uh, not everything can be for everyone. I think is the best thing I
yeah,
can say here. Just like I don't know what more to say on that. Like, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Blast. Last
hell yeah.
topic of the show. I just closed Notion.
Blast topic.
Genius here. Okay, so Blast. We had a fun time in the groups. G2 won as per expected.
Yeah.
We're not going to
Group
talk
B
about
went as expected as well.
Group B went exactly as expected with
Yeah,
Navi
Navi
going
went out
out
last,
0-2.
losing to MIBR. Yep.
Yep, losing to MIBR and losing to Astralis, and I'm pretty sure Simple had to give away a knife because
He
he
did,
lost to
yes.
MIBR.
He wasn't the only one either.
No, him, Don Hachi, and Pimp all gave away knives because Navi lost MIBR. And OG won the group. You know, normal day. Just
That wasn't entirely unexpected.
I mean,
OG are decent.
it was entirely unexpected
I
because
tell you what was unexpected
everyone
was
said Navi
Nexa
wins
being the
group.
best player in the bleeding tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, so remember when we all said that like maybe Nico makes the players around him worse and not better? May I introduce you to Nexa?
So, Harry, our lovely social media guy, put out a scattergram of like IGL's rating how much they AWP. It was how many kills they got and how much they AWP. And like 2019 Nexa was fragger.
Ridiculous.
2021 Nexa was not a fragger. So something changed there. And I was like, maybe he's in-game leading more. Maybe that's like, like he just made the step up and like it became a difficult thing. He goes to OG and immediately he's a fragger. Like immediately he is a fucking world-class player for like at least for 2 maps. I don't know what happened.
He had a 1.88 rating against Astralis.
Yeah, the guy's like
That's like
bonkers. I'm like,
that's
what the hell? What the
stupid.
hell were G2 doing to him? This poor bloke.
Yo, I just blame it on Nico, and we can leave from that.
But like, I wonder if it's a case where he was calling around Nico and Hunter because he's like, well,
Probably.
and now he's a little bit more free, and he's like, well, Mantu's not as good as Nico. Do I think Valde's better than Hunter? Probably not. I've got Nico to do Danish Nico to do all the vitrolls.
He just still says Nico go kill. It's just a different Nico and less.
Yeah, and he's like less kills, but now he gets to kill. It's like, oh right, I don't have to be like a worm on a rod for Nico anymore. Like,
yeah,
I can just go and do whatever the hell I want, and whatever the hell he wants to do is amazing. It's just like kill everyone. It's great. I mean, this is almost certainly an overreaction because it's been like 3 maps, but he was really good for those 3 maps. And like, if you're OG and you see your new in-game leader start doing things like this, you're like, did we win the trade? Like,
I want to.
What happened?
Can we talk about the Liquid Revenge bracket?
Yeah,
I don't think we talked about this last time, but there were 4 teams in Group C, which is Vitality, EG, FaZe, and Liquid. Vitality,
all old Liquid players.
Yeah, Vitality just gave up Shocks to Liquid. EG just got Stewie from Liquid, and FaZe recently-ish, like a year ago, had Twist come to it from Liquid. So
and
Liquid
they also signed Rops, who Liquid were trying to sign.
Yeah. So basically, Liquid has a bone to pick with everyone here, except for maybe Vitality, who has a bone to pick with Liquid.
Yeah.
Or actually, that Shocks thing was kind of together.
Yeah, it was kind of amicable, but
yeah, but still,
it's I guess Shocks has a bone to pick with Vitality.
It was the revenge group. It was the full Liquid revenge group.
Yeah. And they didn't take much revenge.
You know what though? Here's the thing. They lost to FaZe in overtime. 19 to 15.
Yeah.
They won against EG in overtime, 19 to 17, and then they played FaZe again for the second time that day and lost 19 to 17. They played in this group. I swear to fucking God,
it was
man.
Miserable.
There were 6. What is it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. There were 6 matches in this group. The first 5 matches were fucking Inferno.
And on the last one, they banned it as the last map, so it really looked like it was going to be Inferno again, and then it wasn't.
Terrible.
So Liquid did about as well as you'd expect. They beat the worst team in the group and narrowly lost to the better teams. There's kind of like not that much you can say about Liquid here.
Yeah, I didn't really want to talk about Liquid. I just had to bring up the fact that this
but like
revenge.
It's like OC looked pretty decent, and it does seem like they actually gave him the agency
OC
we
looked
hoped he would.
Fucking insane on some of these.
Yeah, but he went a little bit cold. I mean, he looked good. Like, he just went a little bit cold on some of the other maps.
You know who looked bad? You know who we could have never guessed that would have looked bad? Nitro.
Yeah, who would have guessed? There was one game, and it was like, I think it was the Liquid EG game, where at one point all the bottom fraggers were people who just come from Valorant. It was like, so I think Nitro was bottom fragging, and Automatic was bottom fragging, and I was like, That's that Valor. You can't aim at the neck anymore, son. You have to aim at the head now.
Shocks wasn't bad. Shocks was adequate.
Shocks, he wasn't bad, but he definitely wasn't good.
He was adequate.
He was definitely
an
issue. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty biased against this move anyway, so like, yeah. I'm going to see what I want to see, but I didn't think he was good. I mean, he's the 6th lowest rated player at the event.
Yeah, Nitro's the lowest.
Junior is the lowest, actually. Maybe we were a little bit wrong.
Speaking of complexity,
I mean, it's very like early, but
I'd just like to remind everybody of Floppy Supremacy, and then we can move on.
Oh, Floppy's so good, dude.
Not that he showed any of that this event. Grim actually was a monster this event. Look at the
he was good.
Big game. I don't know if
Grim was good, but like Monster, I don't think you can call anyone a monster at this event.
You know what? I'm
But
all
like,
in on the
I think they
complexity.
play MIBR next, and if they don't win that, that's when the alarm bells start. MIBR in a best of three. If you lose that, I'm like,
Yeah, what are we
alarm
doing
bells are
here?
ringing. That's not good. But
They do.
until they lose that, I hold out hope.
All right, so matches coming up. Uh, hour after this comes out, Complexity takes MIBR on. Complexity should win that every day of the week. We think, but also
Yeah.
MIBR is a better team than Navi, so I don't know.
Uh, yeah. So I think we should probably mention the fact that Navi, like, we just sort of mentioned it passing. Navi literally went out 0-2 in their group,
Yeah.
and their game to go through is now a best of three against Liquid. Look at you,
Who
mate.
beat
You
them?
finished third in your group, and you're like, at least you play the fourth best team from Group B. MIBR, that should be. Who?
The number one team in the
I
world?
thought we were playing the worst team in the group. No, Navi. Nah, you're having me on.
It's Liquid is currently ranked number 223 in the world. They will be ranked there by the time it gets to Thursday, and Navi is ranked number 1 in the world. This could be the greatest upset known to humankind based on HLTV rankings.
That's true, actually. That's very weird. That is very unusual. And, like, it's really not that
No, it's definitely
unlikely.
possible. I mean, Liquid literally just beat Navi like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Look,
I don't expect them to, but like
Navi were horrible, but apparently Simple was lagging and Perfecto was lagging, which isn't going to help.
I think it was Typical Electronic. I think had packet loss. They tried to fix, and they were just like, nah, fuck it, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. So if that's fixed, do I really think Liquid are going to win a best of three
Hey,
against
you
them
know
with
what?
Shocks playing? Probably not.
I believe in OC supremacy.
Look, I don't know where you stand on the is Counter-Strike a strong link game or a weak link game? You know how like people say a lot of
It's a
sports.
weak link game.
You think so?
I think it's a weak link game.
I'm more of the thought that it might be a strong link game. But if you think it's a weak link game, do you think Perfecto is weaker than Nitro? Do you think Boomich is worse than Nitro? And do you think Perfecto is worse than Shocks?
I think every person on Liquid, other than actually, okay, I guess I think Shocks and Nitro are worse than every person on Navi. I think Elige and Naf match up pretty well with Bit Electronic. In good form.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think OC
it's edged to Navi, but it's closer than.
and I
it's
think
pretty
OC
close.
is a better player than Simple.
Yeah.
So I don't see what the problem here is.
So you think if it's a strong link game, then OC just owns Simple
OC
and,
just
and
wins.
Liquid
If it's
win.
a
But
weak link game,
so I guess this game, this best of three defines whether or not it's a strong link or a weak link game.
yeah. Because if it's a strong link, then Liquid win. If it's a weak link, then
The
Navi
problem
win.
is, like, anytime you look at a game Navi are playing and you like match them up 1-for-1, there's not a single team in the world where you think, is their worst player like better than Perfecto? Like, there's not a single player where you're
there
like,
is
yeah,
one
probably.
team. There is one team. It's G2.
Where their worst player is Alexi B. Is he better than Boomich? Probably as an individual player.
Or you can go Jax there and say, is he
Jax
better than
versus Perfecto.
Like, arguable.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
But
Yeah,
strong
it's pretty
side,
close.
is Nico better than Simple? No.
No, but it's pretty, Is Munzi better than Bit? Yes. Munzi's the greatest player. Munzi is like, I don't know.
Yo, hold on. We need
so
Munzi versus OC. We need to know who the best opera in Counter-Strike is. Fuck this Simple
Munzi
guy.
is like,
we need the best opera.
I know it's like a really small sample size, and he didn't even frag that highly. But fuck me, is this guy quick? Like, I had when you watch the game, you have X-ray,
yeah,
and you can see that the guy's about to peak, and he still reacts faster than I would. I would be able to see the guy coming in and fire as he came in, and Munzi would be quicker. He is electric. He is absolute like lightning in a bottle. He is electric quick. I don't know if it's just because he's like 16 and he's like his reactions are at the absolute peak, or if he's like hardwiring Red Bull into his brain. But
probably the latter.
Ridiculously quick. Like I've seen trigger bots slower than Munzi. He is ridiculous. His reaction time is amazing, and he like goes for the flashiest flicks. He's going to be so much fun to watch. If he's even like remotely good, he's going to be so much fun to watch because he's so quick and so flashy.
Okay. Do you got anything else you want to say about Blast?
Big EG is maybe the game I'm looking forward to least in the last like 12 months. I do not care. I do not care who wins this game. I just don't care.
No, this could prove the weak link, strong link theory, because every player for EG is a weak link.
It's so mean, but it's like, do I even disagree?
I just like to say that EG's HLTV page has the ratings for the players. Their highest rated player is Cirque with a 0.95.
Yeah.
They do not have a player above a 1.0.
Big is strange in that they have like a really defined hierarchy of who's good in their team.
Yes.
Like Favon kind of throws it out because it used to just literally just be, it would like Tabson, Searson, Keto, Gade, Tizian. Like it was like really defined. And now with Favon, it's like Favon, Tabson, and then it's like the next three, and it's like how do I don't know. Like I'm not used to seeing Big have two good players.
It's not allowed.
Yeah, like certainly not two good riflers. This is insane.
It's just not allowed.
But I mean, like Big has been pretty disappointing with Favon so far. But if they lose this, that's a worry because there's no way this EG lineup should be able to live with the firepower Big have, and they certainly should be able to live with the structure the Big have. Like this should be anything other than a 2-0 for Big here is really disappointing in my eyes, at least. If they don't 2-0 this, I'd be like something's wrong because there's no way a team as new, unstructured, and like I don't even think EG are more skilled than them. Like if they get a map off Big, I'm pretty worried.
Absolutely agreed.
And if they win, I like everything I know about Counter-Strike is completely thrown out the window.
Yeah,
I have to get some coaching from like Vu or something. Can't afford MSL, so I just go for if somebody doesn't know what they're talking about instead.
All right. I think that's going to be it for this.
Yeah. Is there anything else we've missed?
No, I did our quick Twitter scroll of making sure that nothing blew up in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, they got to wait till just after we record for that. So
yeah,
that's usually the way. Yeah, I don't think we've missed anything. And if we have, then we'll just add it in post. It's fine.
We'll add in post, aka Logan will record at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Thursday morning when he normally edits this podcast.
There's a little behind the curtain peek for you all there.
Anytime you used to see me do a break in the middle of a podcast, that was me at 1 a.m.
Oh, I guess I got everything. Like, is there people in your house asleep as well at that time? Like, hello everyone, welcome to the Overtime on Inferno ASMR podcast.
So yes, but there's like, I'm in an apartment and the nearest person is like 3 walls away.
Oh,
there's
that's
fine.
There's like shout then.
On this wall is like my living room and no one's in there, right? And that way, as my camera tries to focus, is well, for me that way is like there's a bathroom and then there's another person's room.
Oh,
so I've got like
fine,
3 walls.
You can just scream at them.
Yeah. No, my roommate's over there. 1, 2, 3 in a row. All walls touch, like connected.
That's fine.
I'm isolated.
That's the best way to be.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of absolutely no, I have no good segue. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at ReadTLDR, at Logan Ramhap, and at Aizyesque. We'll see you again next week when hopefully my focus won't be on the plant in the background.